What's up? I'm Matt.
I'm Michelle.
All right, this is the Highly Recommended Podcast. This is a new thing we're doing here where Michelle and I will talk about what's been going on at Highly Recommended and some things that are coming up. And then we will do a segment where each of us has a song picked out. It's a song that we think the other person probably hasn't heard before. So we'll share that song, we'll get the reaction and talk about the song for a minute. We'll do that. And then we will ask each other a question or two to either get to know something for the people watching or listening to this, or something that I might not know your answer to. So kind of like an interview style question for that. So, all right. Well, let's start with what's happened on Highly Recommended.
Yeah. The Howie Spangler interview we did recently at the Record Bar. It went great. Howie is like such a chill dude, so nice and like easy to work with. He was up for whatever, and the beer tasting was, I love the idea. It was fun and different.
Yeah, when that kind of popped into my head, because I kept on thinking how cool it would be to do a beer tasting thing with somebody, but I'm only drinking the non-alcoholics. Well, then I thought about, Howie's not drinking alcohol either. Maybe he'd be down for that. So when I messaged him and he said he was good to go for that, I started getting excited about the whole thing. But what was making me nervous about the interview is I hadn't been in the Record Bar before in the green room area. I know the Record Bar up front, but I was like, what is the setup going to be like where I film this, since we were doing it on site? And originally, they were like, well, we can do it on the bus, but it's really crammed in there. So turned out the green room at least was kind of cool. Everybody had like graffitied up the wall with a Sharpie.
Yeah, that was a cool... I liked the background. There was a lot of
There was a lot of dicks.
There was a lot of penises.
Like 16-year-old, 15, 14-year-old kids have been in there drawing dicks on the wall. But
yes, lots of wieners. But it was cool. The vibe of that room was cool. It was a small space, and I feel like that's always kind of a challenge that we continually face, is we test everything beforehand. You do a whole setup before we go do an interview, and we get into the space because it's always different. And then it's like adjusting to the space, because a lot of people don't realize how, you set up lighting in one space and then you go somewhere else and it's totally different. So that's a constant challenge, and keeps, learning new things all the time to make it better each time.
For me, that's kind of what's like, it makes it fun though, is like the unknown aspect of it. Like some people that would probably drive them crazy, but I kind of like going into a situation knowing I'm going to have to improvise some things. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of fun because it's like you conquer the challenge and it works out fine.
Yeah. And we've been to the Record Bar so many times, kind of into some different back areas, but we hadn't been in that space before. And I don't know, we always go to the Record Bar. It's a cool spot. We found our spot.
Kansas City.
Yeah, Kansas City. Seems to be a frequented place where a lot of the bands that we listen to, go. So, we end up there a lot.
Yeah, so. Record Bar is cool. And the Howie Spangler interview was great. So I'm really appreciative that he did that. He was, like I said, it was chill. It was fun. We had some laughs and had some serious conversations. So yeah, it was good. That's on YouTube for anybody who wants to check that out. What do we got coming up for Highly Recommended? Do you want to?
I'll let you go with that, because I know what we have coming up, but how far into the future do you want to give away?
My plan currently for the next show that I'm probably going to go to would be down to Springfield, Missouri, to go check out Josh Heinrich's 77 Jefferson Skillinja, doing a hometown show for Josh Heinrich's hometown, 420 friendly event. So I think the plan is to go down there with AJ, the barber from the Barbershop series, and we'll go down there and check that show out. We have a trip coming up, so...
This is dedication. This is the dedication he has, because he'll be coming home, and then the next day we're flying out of town. So
Yeah, and we can talk about where we're going, I think, to some degree, because we're going to go down to Florida, see some family down there. And it just so happens that Josh Heinrichs is doing a show the following week from the one that I just mentioned in Cocoa, Florida.
Yeah,
Cocoa Village. It's like Cocoa Village Amphitheater or something. Mm-hmm. Looks really cool. My brother and my parents have seen some shows there. And so I'm looking forward to seeing that and hanging out with Josh. And it's headlined by Fortunate Youth and Joe Samba. Yes. And so we've seen Joe Samba before. I've seen him out in California, but you've seen him in Kansas City. But what happened when he was here last time?
What had happened was when he was here in Kansas City, we ended up getting introduced to Joey Harcum at the show by AJ. You know, he knows all the people. And we went backstage to do an interview with Joey and missed part of Joe Samba's set, which I could still hear, but I was like videoing this interview and like, wanted to be, but we made a great connection. Joey Harcum is amazing. I know everyone that'll probably be listening to this knows Joey Harcum. And after we met him, it was one of those things where you go see an artist or meet an artist and then you just like fall deep into their music. And then after that, I was like, on the Joey Harcum album nonstop on repeat. So it was a great thing, but then also like kind of hurt my heart because we missed part of Joe Samba's set, and that was like the first time I was seeing Joe Samba. So we're going back to Florida and get to see Joe Samba again and hang out with him.
Well, yeah, and that's like I won't say anything for certain until it happens with everything, but Josh Heinrichs has invited us to hang out with him. He's put us on the guest list for that show. Because Josh Heinrichs, he came through the barbershop and did an interview and got a haircut for us. And so we've been staying in touch. And because that all worked out, we may be hanging out with him. We'll hopefully meet the other guys that are performing and, get to see the full set this time.
Yeah.
For Joe Samba. Because,
for sure.
He's amazing. And then the headlining is Fortunate Youth. And I want to say I've seen at least Dan Kelly, which is the lead singer, or maybe Fortunate Youth at some point, probably in California, Cali Roots, but I don't remember. My memory's a little hazy. So anyway, it may be the first. I'll consider it more of like a first-time show for that because that was back when I was drinking and stuff too. So like some of the shows at Cali Roots that I saw, I'm like, I must have been drunker than I thought. But
which is unfortunate because I know that you've had past experiences where you look forward to a show and then I've done it too. And like you're looking forward to something and you get there and you've overdone it with either being, too much alcohol or too much other things. And then after the fact, you're like, I don't even remember what, and you were so excited. And a perfect example of this is did they do 1 year or 2 of the Kansas City at the Speedway?
Yeah, it's called Can Roxas.
Yeah, Can Roxas.
It was 2 years, but the first year was like a totally different sort of lineup, and then it was all EDM the next year.
Yeah, that's right. And I was so excited to see so many of the artists there, and then just was not there mentally when the time came. But it was a lot of fun. I was doing better than some other people in our group who were passed out on the edge of the... I'm not going to name any names, but there were some people... You know who you are. That were passed out laying up against the wall during, like, Kid Cudi, who at the time I was, like, super...
He was one of the top artists to see there. Yeah.
That's who I wanted to see. I was there for Kid Cudi, and I do remember seeing him, but...
I do too.
It was a good time. It was fun, but
yeah.
So, anyways, should we move on?
Yeah, let's go to the song. So you have a song pulled up. So you're gonna go first.
I'm going to stop it there. So you just get a snippet of it.
Yeah.
Can you name the artist?
I already know the artist, but
yeah.
I'm going to be real here. I probably would have known that was Captiva.
Okay.
But you left your pad over there, and as I was setting up, I saw Captiva. So I knew the artist was Captiva, but...
Sneaky!
I didn't do that on purpose. You left it sitting there when I was trying to set up, and so it was there.
Don't read my notes.
So anyway, I knew it was Captiva, but you had prepped me before this that we had talked to the artist, or at least one of the singers of this. So I had already thought it was maybe Captiva, because I was thinking, who would it be that I know of them, but I don't know their catalog or their newest music, so I had already kind of been suspicious of that. So even if I hadn't have seen that, I would have probably known that was Captiva, but I don't know that song.
Well, once you heard his voice, I thought you would definitely be onto it. So a little bit about Captiva. They're a local indie alternative band is how they kind of describe themselves, which I feel like you can definitely get that indie vibe, especially in the beginning. I don't know. I get that vibe from this. So they're local to us from Lawrence, Kansas. We met the lead singer at Alan Raymond.
Yeah.
So we were at the record bar, shocker, in Kansas City, and which, if you don't know who Alan Raymond is, definitely recommend, but circling back, it's not about him right now. We were at Alan Raymond and ended up talking to this young guy and was like, he ended up, hey, I actually am a singer of this band Captiva out of Lawrence. This was probably in 2018. So this was several years ago. Looking back, so I actually, we got into their music around that time. I just found this song because Spotify recommended it to me, but they actually haven't released a song since 2021 that I found. So they haven't released any songs recently, no tour dates scheduled, so I'm kind of on the fence on if they're even still together or not. I couldn't find out if they were or not, but they do have an album. If you go search them on Spotify, they have an album out, and then they have multiple singles. So this song, Typhoon, is a single that was released in 2018. Like, how Spotify does its thing, little like, hey, you might like this song. And I listened to it, and I love it's a beat. So I immediately added it to my jogging playlist. And I've been just, throwing it on here and there while I'm jogging. It's got a good... it seems like positive, I like the positivity of it. I like the upbeatness of it. I know you didn't get to listen to the full song, but
yeah, I mean, the point is to kind of get a sample of it and then we can go listen to it later. But
right.
Yeah, that one, it's almost like the guitars have like a distinctive Captiva sound. You can tell all their songs kind of have, I don't know how to describe their intro with the guitar there exactly, but yeah, maybe they're not together or doing music right now. Or, could have been disbanded, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. I looked and I searched, but their Spotify, I mean, it's still up. Their music is still out there. And so you can still go enjoy their music, even if they aren't playing together anymore. So... well,
they'll leave their music up there to get royalties or streaming, I mean, right. They'll get paid for if people listen to it still. So, of course, they're going to do that. But, yeah, I think... his name was Jackson.
Yeah, it was Jackson. Now his last name I don't remember, but yeah,
I do remember him. And that Alan Raymond show, I think I was getting kind of buzzed there, drinking a little bit, and I remember talking to him at the bar. And then after I found out he was a singer, we were talking about music. I rapped for him. I don't know if
very possible.
I don't know if he was impressed or just deterred by that. This drunk asshole's trying to rap for me. In this loud ass bar.
It was probably.
Here I am thinking I was like Eminem on 8 Mile, last scene. It was
probably lots of stuttering and just nonsensical.
Yeah. No, I'm sure it made sense, but it probably wasn't the best performance. But anyway, and then I do remember. So I just typically would run into people like that. I remember them very well, especially when it's music related, and we. we're going to a show. I don't know what show it was. It would have been somebody like Tropidelic or Bumpin' Uglies or something. And I'm pretty sure it was at the Uptown, the Encore Room, where we saw Joe Samba and Joe Harkin. But anyway, I saw a dude that looked like this Jackson guy walking in, and I was like, hey, I remember you from the record bar. And we were talking outside, and then found out he was the opener. Do you remember that? Were you there for that? He did a performance, and I think it might have just been him, or maybe him and a guitar player and a drummer. They opened for somebody like quite a few years ago, and it was like a smaller show at the time. And it would have been a band like probably Tropidelic or Bumpin' Uglies. But anyway, I guess if you don't remember that, you probably didn't go to that. That must have been me and Andrew.
Highly likely.
But anyway. Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, I like that song. That's definitely something that fits the vibe of what I normally talk about on the channel. So, yeah.
I really like it. It's one, you know, it popped up and I hit play, and it was like as soon as it started, I was like, oh yeah, I like this.
Yeah, it was upbeat. It's definitely something you could work out to or run to or just play loud and kind of makes you want to dance.
Yeah, and I definitely need good music to listen to while I'm running. I don't know if, you know, some people might recall that you've posted that I made you run a 10K, and I've still been running. I need to like zone out. So having good music to zone out to while you're jogging is very important. So.
Yeah, you made me do the 10K, but actually it was really enjoyable. I listened to, pretty sure I just put the Elevators Endless Summer deluxe album on start to finish. And then when I ended at about an hour when I finished at an hour, it was whatever song that was on. But yeah, I was motivated that day by the Elevators. All right, let me do my song now.
Okay.
If I needed you, would you come to me? Would you come to me for to ease my pain? If you needed me, I would come to you. I would swim the sea for to ease your pain. But the night's forlorn, and the morning's born, and the morning's born with the light of love, and you'll miss sunrise if you close your eyes, and that will break my heart in two. If I needed you, would you come to me? Would you come to me for to ease my pain?
All right, I'm gonna pause it at that, and then that was interesting for you and me. So, what'd you think of that?
That was very unexpected.
That was unexpected.
Yeah,
there's a reason why that was played, and I'm gonna tell you about it. But yeah, it's not what you were expecting to hear, was it?
No, I really like it. Very, very chill. Yeah, it's got like a old classic country almost feel to it, like Johnny Cash.
Yeah, it definitely has like some of that older country vibe to it. All right, I'm gonna tell you why I picked this song, and there's some info about this. So I did not know about this song until just like 30 minutes before we started recording this. And the reason why is because I originally was gonna play you a Ben Harper song, and I think you might have known the song, but you know we know Ben Harper, at least a couple of his songs really well, and then it's been a long time, but I saw Ben Harper in Lawrence, and his music is just really good. So I was like, I had another story that I was gonna tie into this Ben Harper song that was gonna work, but then I went to look up Ben Harper in Spotify, and I see a new single, and then when I actually went to play the song, it was the singer is Birdthrower, and then it says like with Ben Harper. So I don't know if he was the backing vocals and the kind of like the chorus that was going on, or if he just helped produce it. But Birdthrower is the artist featuring Ben Harper. So that's kind of how I got onto this. So we went from one Ben Harper to this, and then I was like, who's Birdthrower? And so I went and looked at the bio on him here on Spotify, and it says Ben Harper introduces Birdthrower. And basically, I'm going to summarize what it says in here, but like, apparently Ben Harper saw a man on his hands and knees crawling through Manhattan in a blue business suit. And everybody's walking by him, just ignoring him like it's just normal for a dude to be crawling on the ground in a blue business suit. So according to this, Ben Harper sees him and thinks, I got to know who this guy is. I got to know more about what's going on here. Then it turns out that this guy is a songwriter, and this is Birdthrower, the guy crawling on the ground. So I don't know what exactly was happening there. It doesn't say. I'd like to know more about the actual story as what was going on there.
Yeah, I feel like you're leaving me hanging. I was like...
I think that's the point. So we need to go research this and figure out what was going on with the crawling on his hands and knees in the suit thing. But yeah, so it says his name's Robert O. Lever, a.k.a. Birdthrower, and he's a groundskeeper at Riverside Park in New York. And so he's doing all sort of the groundskeeping at that park. And
he wears a suit while he does this?
Yeah, and then I don't know. It says during a cold snap, birds sometimes fall to the earth. He warms them in his hands and throws them back skyward. So that's how he's the bird thrower, because he's warming these birds and he brings them back to life.
That's so interesting, because I've actually had this thought several times, because we had chickens in the winter, and winters in Kansas, I don't know, people don't really seem to understand how cold it gets here.
Well, in New York, it's probably...
Yeah, in New York, it's going to be colder. And even in Kansas, though, we get negative temperatures here. Long story short, we had chickens that got frostbite, and then my brain we just had a snow, a few days ago, and I'm like walking to work and just wondering, there's so many birds, and how do they adapt? And are a lot of birds dying and we don't realize? When it gets frigid cold, so this guy is picking up birds, warming them back up, and this was the thought I'm having, are birds getting freezing and we just all are oblivious to this?
Well, I'm sure there are.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
That are freezing out there, and
unfortunately.
But the wild birds are more, they're adapted.
Are they though?
I would assume so, or they migrate.
Yeah, that's true.
Birds and wild will migrate. Now, the chickens are a domesticated bird that humans basically just, they come from the humans. They wouldn't just be wild. There wouldn't be wild chickens. There
are wild chickens.
Where?
On islands and stuff.
I know, but on an island, there's not a wild chicken population of Kansas. They didn't just originate in Kansas.
No, there is
because they're not adapted to it. Hence why they didn't do well.
Well, they're supposed to grow an undercoat of feathers to keep them warm. And now that's why I was thinking, because it's been relatively warm here, and then it was just the last few days it dropped. But those birds, as it gets colder, it's supposed to build that undercoat of feathers to keep them warm through the winter. But when it goes from not, relatively warm, and then it just drops like it did this last week here, it's did they have time to get their under feathers on? I don't know.
If they stuck around in Kansas as it started getting kind of chilly, hopefully they can survive that, because other birds have probably already dipped out.
Yeah, geese
things. They bailed on it months ago.
Yeah. Anyways.
But the bird thrower. So then, to kind of pick up where I guess what left off. So Ben Harper met this guy. They became friends, and Ben decided he wanted to produce an album for him. So there is an album from 2019. I guess it says in the making of that album, Birdthrower recorded the songs in either 1, 2, or 3 takes max. And that's how that came to be. So that was why I picked that one. And I think Ben Harper, he's folk music kind of. I don't know. I guess I don't know what genre they might stylize him in. Maybe Americana folk music mostly. But I feel like people that kind of listen to some of the stuff I talk about would either know Ben Harper or, would like him. And then, yeah, that's the Birdthrower there.
Nice.
So
I like it. I'll have to listen to the rest of it. It's like just playing a snippet is kind of like you want to listen to the whole song, but you don't want to listen to the whole song on here because
right, we got to keep it brief for this. Yeah, I guess the Birdthrower, the 2019 album is the Birdthrower. It's just Birdthrower, so it's self-titled. But yeah, so anyway, I'd never heard of him before. I thought that was a cool story, and I was like, I'm going to change the song that I had picked out.
Yeah.
Because I knew that this definitely was going to be brand new to you, and it was like that was the third time I've listened to it, because I listened to it twice before to kind of get an idea of what I was going to play for you. It's like, this would work. So
yeah, I like it. I like it. Those are good. If you just want to put something on while you're cleaning or cooking, or something that's chill. If you're stretching, it's like when I'm doing a workout, I want to listen to upbeat music. As soon as I'm done, I'm like, change. I need something to because then I'm stretching and trying to come down.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Or even before bed, if you're getting ready. If anyone on here is anything like you that's playing music literally 24/7, then you need you need music genres throughout the day, different ones to,
Well, and that's one of the things we were talking about on this is there's a core sound that I'm building Highly Recommended around. It's sort of that reggae adjacent beach rock, ska punk, I guess. All of that style that kind of is the core of Highly Recommended. But we listen to a lot more than just that music, and I listen to a lot more than that. But I don't, I'm trying to stick to the niche that is being built. But we can throw out other stuff like that.
Yeah.
That I enjoy. Hopefully other people,
right,
pick up on it. It's maybe introducing some new artists to people and different sounds than I normally talk about. So, yeah, I think that was an interesting one. I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
And I like the story a lot.
I do too. That's really interesting. I know. And for a minute, I was like, "Is this song gonna make me cry? Are you trying to pull up my heartstrings at your very first, at our very first song exchange that we're doing?" Yeah. Just because I know Ben Harper, usually that song, Ben Harper's music usually gets me right in the feels.
Well, I mean, we have a specific song that's by Ben Harper called Forever, that we did our first dance to, put quotes around that because it wasn't at our wedding, but it was a couple years later. But yeah. Yeah. Ben Harper's Forever is a good one, and of course that's very meaningful to us. So I think the Ben Harper thing was a good one to bring out too here. So let's go to the last part of our podcast.
Yeah.
The question.
Okay.
The ultimate question that we have to ask.
Yes.
What do you want to do? You want to ask me first, or should I?
I'll ask you first.
Okay.
Okay. So you made your question seem like it was going to be actually beneficial, and mine's just super random.
Well, we can exchange different types of questions as these things go on, because it definitely could just be a joke question. So
yeah, no so mine is not serious, but I wanted to know your answer. Just because we have been together for coming up on 15 years, but there's still, I don't know, it's sometimes we'll throw out things and you'll put a different perspective on it that, you're always surprising me. So
vice versa. But yeah, plenty to talk about. And
exactly.
Your mind is always evolving. So things that you might have thought could be different now. So
right.
You don't know what I'm going to say, maybe.
Yeah. And if I throw out thoughts on what's happening to the birds in the winter, we'll have a whole discussion on birds and their migration patterns or if they grow winter feathers or not. So you're always open
based on primarily, guessing and what ifs, not any facts.
No, ever. Not factual.
Just typically no facts just used to support any of the statements being made. All
speculation on what we think, and this goes from birds to universe and our existence here. We have some conversations that I feel like if other people heard, they would question.
They might hear him. They might hear him through this podcast.
Yes.
And especially in the question section, the interview question part
Yeah.
of this podcast. So fire away, hit me up.
Okay, so if you could be a kitchen appliance, what would you be and why?
I immediately thought of like the perfect answer for this. The first thing that came to mind, I'd be the oven.
Okay.
Why would I be the oven?
Yeah.
Because I'm always baking.
Because you're always
The oven.
big. Oh my God, did you?
Time to get baked, baby.
No, I feel like the oven is good because it does, you can cook stovetop. You can also bake, and something people probably don't know about you is that you're a very good cook and you do cook a lot. So I think that is actually a perfect answer because, yeah, that fits you well. When you're in the kitchen, where are you usually standing? At the stove.
At
or
the
at
stove,
oven?
frying some stuff up.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I that was like the first thing that came to mind, the oven, and our kitchen has very few appliances really.
Yeah.
We've got the core things like the fridge and the oven and the microwave and the
Dishwasher.
dishwasher.
Toaster.
Five things.
Core appliance, the
Now you
toaster.
said appliance, though. You didn't say like utensil. If you'd left it open to a utensil, I mean, I could have been a wooden spoon, I wouldn't have been the wooden spoon, but I could have been. I could have been spatula or...
I don't know why. Why would you be wooden spoon?
I'm just thinking,
spatula.
but that doesn't fall in the category of kitchen appliance, right? So
I don't know.
it was narrowed down, so it made my selection easier because I had to really only think about 5 things versus all the things that existed in the kitchen.
Well, your first initial thought was oven. I feel like that's a good one. And yeah, I think that fits.
Yeah. All right. Well, be prepared for
it.
any of you musicians that I'm going to interview. I'm going to ask you what kitchen appliance you would be if you were a kitchen appliance.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, that's my question.
It made me think of, there's this stuff called salvia that it's not really very popular right now, but you could get salvia that was like a hallucinogen that you could smoke, and it's like really wrecks your brain for about 15 minutes. Like it's weird and confusing, and most people don't enjoy the experience, and they I guess say from personal experience, it was definitely weird, and I was like, what the heck is this?
Turn you into a kitchen appliance? Is that where
that's like a common thing, I guess, that people have experienced under the influence of salvia is like,
really?
They think they turned into some inanimate object or something like the refrigerator. And I don't understand exactly that, that wasn't necessarily the experience I had, but
I am the refrigerator.
they just, they think they're like a deck of cards, or they're a couch, or it's like, wow, I don't know. But anyway, so if you, if you dabble in salvia, you might have experienced what it's like to be a kitchen appliance.
Yeah, so if you have been a kitchen appliance previously for a short amount of time.
Which one was it?
Which one were you?
And what was it
why?
like?
And what was it like?
What was the perspective of the oven?
Yeah, I feel like not a lot would be going on if you were an oven. I mean, you're just like, I'm here. I don't know.
I'm cool, then I'm hot, then I'm cool for most of the time, but I get a little warm.
I get a little warm. I might burn you, but I'll come down.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Could tie that as an analogy to people's personality types. But all right, let me hit you with my question now.
Okay.
My question is, because you're sort of a new appearance on the Highly Recommended, everybody's seeing my face all the time and hearing me talk about stuff. But for you, what do you like to do in your free time? And you can just give some examples of some different things that you like to do. But how do you like to spend your free time, Michelle?
Okay, well, I feel like you know the answer to this.
That's the thing. I know the answer.
answer.
This is more for, because I'll ask some questions later on that, in the different episodes about something I would get an answer I wouldn't expect. I know some of the things you're going to probably throw out here, but this is like more introduce you to the Highly Recommended people that are watching this or listening.
Obviously, we like to go to shows in our spare time. And if we're not doing shows, I feel like it's like family stuff. We have kids and they're in activities. It depends on the day. Some days I'll watch a show. Some days I'll meditate. I like energy work, energy healing. So I try to do, positive things for myself so then I'm feeling good for my clients and for my family. So
the exercise is something that we value and our kids. So we're in physical activities outside of school and work. So that wasn't surprising. But I thought you were going to bring up that you like to spend half your day at the thrift store.
Oh.
You didn't even say anything about going thrifting.
Yeah, you're right.
You suck at home.
I love thrifting. I am a big thrifter, and Matt is not at all, so I usually go by myself, and which I'm fine. I mean, I'm fine when people want to tag along, but when I'm at the thrift store, I'm in like this mindset of like, I'm searching for treasure, and don't bother me. Fortunately and unfortunately, we live across the street from a very nice thrift store. So I just walk over there because it's so convenient right by our house and search for treasures because I enjoy finding things. I would much rather thrift something than buy it on Amazon. I'm not a shopper, but I love to thrift, and I feel like there's a big difference there. You kind of go in it in the mindset of like you don't know what you're gonna find, and some days I go and I usually find something to bring home. I usually don't come back empty-handed, even if it's a few things. But some days I'll come back and I found that record player. It works awesome. We've gotten to enjoy some records from that find. Most of our furniture, my clothes, I love the, you don't know what you're going to find until you go searching for it. So it's fun. And I was thinking you were going to say our dogs, because I'm a huge dog person and we have 2 dogs. And usually, if I'm not working, doing something with the boys, getting my workout in, whatever, I'm taking care of our dogs, walking them, taking them to the dog park.
Yeah, the dogs get plenty of attention. They're not the type of dog that just gets neglected. So they get, winter's a little bit more infrequent, but they pretty much get walked every day or every other day. And
if we miss a day, it's like,
they're posted up on our bed or our couch with their head on a pillow, just, like
it's
queens.
True. Little queens. Yeah, we have 2 females.
Serve their every need.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the dogs, the thrifting, the exercise, self-care. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, that's me in a nutshell. Help, I'm in a nutshell. Do you get that? Do you get that
what was
reference?
That? What movie is that?
Austin Powers. He's laying on the bed and she says something about, that's you in a nutshell. And he's like, help, I'm in a nutshell.
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't seen that movie in forever. But anyways, that's me in a nutshell.
All right, that's it. So yeah, that's the highly recommended podcast, very first episode. Hopefully everybody that's checking this out enjoyed what we had to talk about.
Whoop, whoop.
And we'll be doing some more of these. It'd be nice to get them going consistently, but that's only in what time allows. So we'll have some more, I think, but yeah. Number 1, numero uno off the list. Thanks, everybody. Signing off, highly recommended. We'll see you guys later.
Peace.
Peace.